The Unemployed Actress. Take one. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Unemployed Actress. I am Lobcke, I'm her is she, and she is me. We're back for a brand new episode of The Unemployed Actress. This week, we're going to start things off a little bit differently. I usually tell you, let's get straight into it. And then I launch it into something I've watched or interviews I've seen of famous people. I decided this week to read stories from people who are actually in the same place I am, who are in the unemployed actress space, and who just love acting. So, where did I go? The interwebs. I went to the interwebs to find like-minded people, as we do. So, this one is just a small thread. The thread goes, I don't know how I would live without acting. Same. Relatable content. This is why this podcast is here. Let's read. It's always shocking to me when people do acting because they want to get fame out of the deal. Like they want to be a star, but don't have a care in the world for the love of it. I just don't get it. If I could be a doctor or businesswoman or some kind of computer programmer, I would. If I could be a director or a lighting designer or set designer, I would. If I could be a more stable career person, I would. I've constantly questioned my entire life and career path because acting really just makes you think, what the hell am I doing with my life? Hey! Never has a phrase been more relatable. Let me read it again. I've often questioned my entire life and career path because acting really makes you think, what the hell am I doing with my life? Same. Acting is the only thing that makes me feel truly alive. The only thing I can actually do and do well. Like I honestly don't really like doing much of anything else. I was always terribly socially awkward, unrelatable. And the only thing that brings me out of my shell and makes me feel comfortable is acting. I find it to be the most wonderful feeling in the world. Like even in my personal life, I just find myself mumbling as different characters because I love this. Same, I do this all the time. I just want to do acting forever. I don't have a choice because I don't think I would honestly ever be happy without it. It's all I want to do. I don't know how I could live without it. It makes me look at people who go into it for the fame and think, wow, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Now, very dramatic and very very on brand for actors, for creatives, for people with a passion, right? That it's something, and I've said this so many times, it's a living, breathing thing inside of you. If we could quit it, we would, but we can't. It's like someone said in this thread, sounds like a bit of an addiction. And I think in some way, it truly is. Having a passion is tantamount to having an addiction because you cannot shake it. It's not always good for you. You want to give it up more than anything. But when you have that high, when you have that moment of high, you just want to keep doing it. You're just like, yes, I want to keep flying. I want to keep this high going. So relatable. Other people then went on to say, I love acting so much that I think it would be cool to live off it completely and never have to stress and worry about finding work when you reach a certain level of fame. You don't even have to audition as often or at all. People just come to you. Again, I saw a interview with Denzel Washington on the Graham Norton show. And was it Graham Norton? Oh my word, no, I'm lying. He was in an interview. I've seen a lot of interviews. He was in an interview with someone who asked him when was the last time he'd auditioned. And he was like, maybe 40 years ago. Since he won his first Academy Award, he hasn't had to audition again. The scripts just come to him. It's just now people produce work or create work with him in mind, which is brilliant. It's a scale of prowess that I can't wait to reach. That's just, I mean, come on. Someone else said, I think it would be cool to have my work recognized so I could live comfortably. But I guess I'm just saying I'm not saying that's why I do it. I just want to do the work. And if the fame came along with that one day, that would be cool. But I always find it strange when people put fame first over the actual passion of it. That's also something that I also thought on once, right? I also had a conversation with myself and I was like, do I want to be an actor because I want to be famous? Or do I want to be an actor? And I want to be an actor. I think if I wanted to be famous, there's so much other ways I can do this. But I want to be an actor. Being an actor, the feeling of getting a script, studying it, placing yourself in that character's shoes, getting it together, working on it, and then going and doing the audition or booking the casting and then going and doing it. There's very few feelings like that. Again, the long days, the long hours, sometimes the long time in the sun under all of those lights. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Once they call action and you go, like, very little else compares. Very little else compares. I'll read 2 more things from here. I used to think like that. Then I got into acting because I was in awe of cinema. I relished and still treat every movie experience like it's the event of my life. Everything about going to the local theater, the smell of popcorn, reclining back and becoming fully immersed in a story, and being so invested in those incredible moments an actor can take you through is a kind of euphoria I can't describe to anyone. Girl, you ain't gotta tell me twice. I know. I know. It's the cinematic experience is comparable to none. It is amazing. It is this it's an incredible moment. It's almost like this agreement between the film and yourself that you will experience it as it comes at you. You will take it in. You will buy into everything that's being shown to you and let the story take you. Sometimes it does, sometimes films just don't, and that happens. But, the cinematic experience it's a chef's kiss. It's why so many people love cinema. It's why no matter the direction that streaming services is taking the world of television and film, still going to the cinema is an experience in and of itself. And watching a great actor or watching a good cinematic piece of work, again, comparable to none. Okay, last one. I feel exactly the same way and was thinking the same thing just earlier today. The problem is, I'm not yet a working actor. I'm still very much at the amateur level. And in the meantime, every day, real job I've stumbled into along the way. I've always ended up at the same place, realizing all I want to do is act. I can't escape it. Stunning. I so much enjoyed finding these stories of real unemployed actors, or just people talking about their ambitions and how much acting means to them and how much they just want to do it for the love of the art. I think that is something that's absolutely amazing because it's so relatable. It has very little to do with fame and notoriety and just being able to exercise your craft every single day. Having people notice you for your work is amazing, and hopefully reaching Uncle Dan's levels where we don't need to audition for work anymore would be even greater. But while we are at this unemployed actress space, the starter space, there's nothing that's more amazing or not a bigger drive than just wanting to work for the love of the craft. So that was really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed that and not celebrity when I wasn't successful stories, but real people just going, I love this and I want to be able to do this, which is really awesome. Guys, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this. I've been talking about it since yesterday. I saw Gladiator II. I saw Gladiator II. Oh my god. I have, firstly, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. Disclaimer, I'm not someone who gives up on films. A film could be bad and I would sit through it to the end. I pay my respects to the duration of the film, even if it's terrible. I was 32 minutes into Gladiator 2 and I wanted to leave the cinema. I bought frightfully expensive tickets to watch it in IMAX. And I was like, I want to go home. I want to go home. This is awful. It is even more shocking because Ridley Scott is directing it again. It's a Ridley Scott film. It's a Scott-free production again. It's got a powerhouse of a leading cast. And yet, guys, oh, it was bad. Oh, it was bad. It felt like it was brought to us by the creators of Game of Thrones season 8. It felt like it was brought to us by Peter Jackson, but the Hobbit Peter Jackson. You know that river scene with the barrels? That CGI overload? It felt like it was brought to us by that Peter Jackson. It felt like it was brought to us by Transformers 1000 Michael Bay. Oh my word. No. The storyline itself was just put together. In Afrikaans we say met spoeg en plak. It's with spit and paste. It's just, I hope it holds. It was such an insult to the legacy that is Maximus Decimus Meridius. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen it yet, turn me off or skip ahead. But no, just absolutely no. The opening sequence is really nice. It does a whole lot of like callbacks to the scenes from the first film. Sort of invites us back into the world of Gladiator, right? It says, remember what you saw when you first watched the film, when you watched the first one? Well, welcome back. We're gonna take you into next. They took us nowhere. They welcomed us on Daenerys Stormborn of the House Targaryen's ships. I promise you, if it wasn't the same ships, we were sailing to Westeros. We were going into battle. A farmer and his wife. A farmer and his wife are going into battle. His wife dies. The farmer sees who killed his wife. The general. Cool. So now the farmer must avenge his wife and have the head of the general. The farmer is captured, but the farmer's actually a soldier who's actually a general himself. So now the farmer's captured. He's now going to be a gladiator in the Great Games. He is spotted by a businessman who trades in the specialization of gladiators. He says, go fight. Gladiator goes, fights freaking animatronic baboons. That is just insane. Like, I promise you, if we could see the pixels that built that CGI baboons, then we would. They are so unbelievable. And now we see Gladiator defeat the baboons. So must be a strong one. Yes, take him to Rome. There's an unnecessary black guy there also. Because we had Jaimon Honsu before, we must have one now. That serves zero purpose. Zero purpose. But we have him nonetheless. Cool. First fight in the Colosseo, and black man dies because why not? Why not? Why not just go along with the with the tradition? Black guy's dead. He says, I will avenge some more. And then we got a CGI rhino. And once we were done getting a CGI rhino, we got sharks. The Colosseum was filled with water. There were boats. And we got sharks. Yeah. Cool. Fair enough. None of this served any purpose. And then we find out, shockingly, the farmer / general, now Gladiator's mom, is actually the princess from the first movie, who is now not the princess anymore. She's sort of a held prison princess who is married to the general that killed the farmer General Gladiator's wife all the way in the beginning. Why is the princess, who is now not the princess anymore, why is she not the princess anymore? Because some wacko twins are now dual leaders. We have no idea why they are dual leaders, how they became dual leaders. That's not part of the story, right? It's not important for the development of the film. Do you hear how ridiculous I'm making this sound? That is how ridiculous I felt watching this. I thought it is so disrespectful to your audience, to your die-hard Gladiator fans, to your fans as a director, to give us that. Maybe it's because Hans Zimmer wasn't there making the music, so we didn't feel the feels. But I felt nothing. Start to finish, I felt nothing. For their story, for their character development, for the plot, there was nothing evocative about this. Uncle Denz was in there playing American gangster version of Iago from Othello. If you've read Othello, you know Iago is like some spiny little, schemy little whispering man in the background. And that's who Uncle Denz was. Hood stage presence in Rome. Motivations are a little bit gray. We find out his motivations at some point, but even then we're like, really? That doesn't okay. All right, continue. Let's continue, because no, just no, just a whole lot of no. Whoever did the sound mixing also. You're telling me I can hear the Foley crystal clear. I can hear the sound of the rocks. I can hear the swing, swing, swing from the sword. I can hear the from the stabbing. I can hear all of that. But the dialogue has an echo. I am the last person to speak on sound, right? I have my little mic over here and I'm in a room that sounds echoey, but that's that. I am not a Ridley Scott production. I have no idea why the sound production of the Colosseum scenes, of the big hall scenes, was so hollow. It's like the person with the boom was standing across the room. Where were you? Where were you? Could they not reach them with the boom mic? Were they going to be in the shot? Oh no. Hey! No, I want my money back. I want my money back. I didn't even feel the need to sit and digest what I saw. I just said, let me go. Let me go home and go watch the first Gladiator to repair what Gladiator II just did to my psyche, because absolutely not. It's a no from me. So go watch at own risk. No, go watch. Maybe this is all my opinion, right? And maybe you'll differ. Maybe your cinematic experience of this film would be so vastly different. But mine, oh no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, thank you. No, thank you. Even at the end, when the credits started rolling and we got Hello, Shalom. When that song broke, like into the end and then took us into the credits, it did nothing. It did nothing. Remember when that song played? When Maximus Decimus Meridius was laying there in the center of the Colosseum. And he said Lucius is safe. And the princess made a big speech about one man's life being lost for Rome. Let it not be in vain. And the other man from Parliament said, who will help me carry him? And that song started building and you just started bawling because, oh my God, that scene just punched you in the gut. It was just so good. It was a moment of cinema. I experienced not one such moment of cinema watching Gladiator II. Not one. It just was. It's a movie that just was. Alright, guys, this week I'm starting something new. It is my abstract recommendations. It might be a TV series, it might be a movie, but also chances are you've never seen it. If you have, then we should be friends, or we're already friends, so let's talk. But for this week's abstract recommendation, it's a TV series on Netflix that I'm so mad only got one season. It was really good. It's a Dutch horror series called Ares. It is so good. Let me tell you why. So Ares sees us meeting this girl named Rosa, right? She's from a shady part of Amsterdam. She's not from an affluent family. She's a mixed race girl, and she's a med student. All of this is important. And she's friends with the right side of the tracks, Jacob Kreidop. Right? And they've been friends, and we see her in her lectures, and this amazing lecturer is there who she's super in awe of, and her friend is sort of nowhere to be seen anymore. She's like, what is going on? You're distant. Why aren't we talking? Where have you been? And he's just being cagey about it. One evening she follows him to go see where he goes to, because my friend, you haven't been saying anything, so I'm gonna find you. She follows him to the Rijksmuseum, where there's this posh society, young people, all dressed in blue and white. And she sort of sees him and he's like, why are you here? Get out, leave, don't come back. And the head girl, if you will, is like, why are you chasing your friend away? Come over here, let's talk. And they're walking through the Rijksmuseum and they're talking. And they look at this one painting of a swan and an egg, and she says this is, the history of the Netherlands and the majesty of the Netherlands, and basically the blue bloods that founded Holland and made it what it is today. And after this short, weird, cryptic conversation, they sort of dismiss Rosa out of this section of the Rijksmuseum, and she sees them pulling together dinner tables, and she's like, what the hell? They're having dinner in the Rijksmuseum? But then she meets her friend again, and she's sort of like, my guy, what are you into? Is this like some secret society? Also, how do I get in the secret society? Like, you're not even going to plug your friend? You're not even going to say, friend, I'm in a secret society. You want to be secret with me? What the hell? That's not how friends work. And he's like, girl, you do not want to be in on this. Like, you do not want to be in on this. This is not that kind of society. It's not for you. And the last thing you should be telling a powerhouse of a girl like this is that it's not for her. Then she's like, you know what? It is for me. I'm going to be in this. Watch me. And she wakes up the next morning to find an invitation. There's sort of an egg on her chair, and there's an invitation to join Ares. And she tells her friend, oh, she got an invite, and he's like, decline, don't do it. And she's like, how dare you? I knew you thought little of me. I knew you didn't want the best for me. I know you don't want me to live my best life. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join Aris. Story launches, right? She gets kidnapped by Aris, basically taken to this house where they then get initiated, basically, into Aris. They get branded. It's very slavey. They've got these burlap sack dress things that they're wearing. They've got these heavy chains around their throats that connect them to each other, and then this brandishing. It's got a very big slave underlying theme. It's got a very big slave theme, which plays into as the story develops, right? And it's really then how she becomes part of Aris and the strange things that starts happening. Jacob tries to escape and run away, but he can't. They refuse. They're like, we are blue bloods. You are not going to leave Aris. This is our birthright. This is who we are. We go on to be insanely successful people. So you are staying. Dunzos. And he's like, oh my god, I don't want to stay. And part of his escape, trying to make his way out of this house, doors appear that aren't really there, and then he comes face to face with this sort of dark entity, this thing that looks like a chained person, just made out of this black sludge, down in the basement. And this thing and him touch, and then his fingers sort of turn black, and then he's pulled out of this, I don't know, psychosis, if you would, hallucination, if you will, back into the real life, right? And as the story develops, then these black fingers of him don't get any better, but everyone he touches sort of lives in this nightmare of their worst crime that they've done, because that's also part of being in Aris. You commit heinous acts that sort of elevates you, gives you this power in order to then be the top, the cream of the crop of society. Rosa starts throwing out this black sludge. Apparently that's part of the guilt leaving you. You become more ruthless as you release this black sludge. And the story just winds, and I won't give away the ending or any of this, but it gets really good. It's got, like I said, it's got a very big slave theme, and I think that's why this dark entity lives in the bottom of this house that they're in, basically, is chained to the floor, cannot break free, but gives them their power. Right? It's something you should see. It is something you should see. You should watch Aris. Binge it, in fact. Just sit down, turn it on, and don't get up. It's really good. It's really good. I'm really sad that it only got one season. And the actors, they're brilliant. Brilliant. So there's my abstract recommendation for the week. And this week, I leave you once again with a little dilemma from the unemployed acting world. When is it time to give up your dream? Hey! Hello. I've recently got rejected from the final year of an acting program that I had already gotten into previously. I feel like it might be time to accept that I'm just not good enough. I love acting so much, and it is my dream to be an actor and a writer. But at this point, it feels arrogant and delusional to believe that I could ever be an actor. Only special and talented people get the chance, and I'm just not good enough. I know that there are many paths to acting success, and I know that fame is not that important to me. And as long as I can make a modest living off making art, then I would be very lucky. I don't need fame, but I would like to have the respect of other actors and to know that I'm doing good work. I don't want to be seen as a delusional person or who is still trying to even get where everyone knows they are. I've been rejected from nearly every audition I've ever done. And outside of acting class, I've never had a major role in anything. I didn't start acting until university, so I didn't do high school plays or anything like that. Honestly, I've barely gotten the opportunity to act at all. And now I probably never will again. Now that I can't continue in my university program. One of my worst fears is seeming arrogant or selfish, or like I think I'm better than I am. But I feel that to continue acting, even when I know that I am shit, and that there are millions of people who are better than me, would require me to be incredibly arrogant and delusional. This is a very common dream, and who am I to think that I deserve to have my dreams come true when I have been nothing but garbage my whole life? Sorry to be dramatic, pun intended. I just feel very hopeless right now and was wondering if anyone else had ever felt this way. How do you know if you are being delusional? And how do you live with knowing that you aren't very good at the only thing you really love? The worst part is, even writing this, I know that I won't stop trying, even though I should. Ooh! Reading that, wow. Full on, I would say just never give up. You're not being delusional. You have a dream and you're chasing it, and that should be, and that is big enough. It's hard. It's hard having a dream that you don't see any evidence that you're going to achieve, and it's something that you feel like you're constantly failing at. But don't give up. Don't give up. Create in the smallest of ways. Create and believe in yourself. Stop calling yourself things like garbage and really shit at acting. You're also not arrogant or selfish. To have a dream is a giant blessing. Some people walk through life not knowing what they want to do ever. So to even know what you want to do and who you want to be is fantastic. It's amazing. And the big break will come. The big break will happen. It might not happen on your timeline and you might feel like giving up right now, but it's going to happen. I say I'm not going to quote a famous person whose unsuccessful times interview struck me, but in this week I saw an interview with Uza Aduba, Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black, and she was talking about being at broke point and having auditioned for Orange is the New Black and not having heard back, and deciding that day, that specific day, that she was going to quit acting. And she said she prayed and she was like, God, if I need to go and be a lawyer and change this all around and be a lawyer, then make a way for me to be a lawyer. And she said that day her agent called and she was like, ugh, okay. Since when are agents calling to say you didn't get the role? And her agent was like, remember Orange is the New Black? And she's like, yeah, well, you didn't get that part. And she's like, really? You called me to tell me this? But okay, maybe now it's a perfect time to tell you I quit acting and I'm going to be a lawyer. And before she could say that, her agent went, but they want you for another role. And that role was Crazy Eyes. And that launched her career. So your breakthrough is just around the corner. It might take 1,000 castings to get there, but you're going to get there. It starts with stop calling yourself garbage and trash and shit. You're a person with a dream and an acting dream. So go do that and be. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of The Unemployed Actress. Did we actually speak about anything? Yes, we did. We heard from other people who have dreams of being actors and have passion for acting, who just love acting. You heard what I felt about Gladiator II. I recommended Aries, however you want to call it in English. And we read a little dilemma, if you will, from someone who is close to giving up acting dreams. Don't do it. Even if you make a podcast just to talk about your own acting dreams, why not? If not you, then who? Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of The Unemployed Actress. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, share. If all of you just shared with one person, that would be amazing. But for now, thank you so much for coming back week after week after week. I appreciate you, and I'm sending you all my love. Bye.